Hi everyone, today I want to share a little project that we made last weekend at an event called Creativity Now. Creativity Now is an event that Stampin' Up! Puts on for demonstrators, and it's really fun because usually I have to design the cards and come up with ideas and then present that to my guests at my workshops. This time I got to be the guest. Stampin' Up! Came up with all the designs, they gave us the measurements, and we were able to follow along to these videos. They gave us tips and tricks and little sneak peeks about what's coming up, and that was really fun. So it was a great demonstrator event, but we are allowed to show you what's coming. So even though you couldn't buy these products yet, unless you're a demonstrator, you can see what's coming up in the next mini catalog, which comes out in August, July for demonstrators. And so, you know, it's right around the corner. It comes up fast, doesn't it? So this is a beautiful line, but even if you don't have this line yet, you can take the idea, the layout that I'm going to show you, and tailor it to fit your needs. Now, the layout that they showed us uses a lot of designer series paper, so I modified it. I'm going to show you how they designed it, and then I modified it so that it could be more useful for me in a class setting, because I need a lot of designer series paper to fit the attendees. I can't do it the way they did, but I can modify it to get the same look and make it a little more feasible for my classes. But this is the one they did. This is a new paper. It's called Peaceful Garden, and I love these colors. I'm a blue person. I like the blues and the peacock, kind of Lost Lagoon, pretty peacock, Misty Moonlight Navy, Secret Sea. This background here is that new Secret Sea. It's gorgeous. So anyway, and cloud cover. So it's a gorgeous paper pack right off the bat. My favorite is this one with the leaf, and my second favorite one is this one with these big white flowers. Isn't that beautiful? But all the papers are pretty. You've got large patterns on one side and then smaller patterns on the other. This is like a little star. This is a gorgeous background or accent paper right there with the little sprigs. And then on the back is just kind of a neutral, which is really nice. It adds some texture to your page, but not a lot. This is really pretty. That'll go with a lot of things, and they look great together, don't they? And so I really like that. I love the way it's painted, so that makes me happy. And then here's another base, Lost Lagoon, I think, which is something I like, or maybe it's cloud cover. What else? I think there's another one I want to show you. This one. As you can see, I've used a bit of paper already. Here's one. This one is really nice, small little dainty flowers, and on the back, oh, the doves, yes. It's called Peaceful Garden, and it has a peace type theme to it, which doves are a symbol of. There's one other dove paper, I think. So I must be, yeah, here it is. Must be missing it. This is Misty Moonlight with some doves that have little olive branches on it, kind of a symbol of peace. So you can tell this is kind of from the winter catalog. It's got a peace on earth. I love this as a background paper too. So if you're not into the doves, the back sides, I mean, this is such a nice crumb cake, easy to use, a nice background, beautiful. And this one too, a nice background. So, you know, if you're not into the doves, I do like the doves, but if you're not, you're gonna like them in a minute because I'm gonna show you the dies. But anyway, it's a gorgeous paper pack. And if you've already seen this, if you're a demonstrator and you just want to see how I modified the card, you can skip ahead a little bit. But I do want to show these because they're really pretty and I want people to see them. So here is the stamp set. It's called Peace on Earth, and then there's Peace on Earth dies. And I want you to see these doves. Now there's no images, it's a sentiment only image. There's heartfelt prayers, so it's not necessarily Christmas. New adventures, you know, sending you all the best, peace, love, joy. So you do have some kind of holiday feel to it. Peace on earth and peace, love, joy kind of have a holiday feel, but also big hugs for a good friend is perfect for someone going through something or who is working through a sickness or whatever. And then you've got the deepest sympathy. It's always nice to have those. Anyway, here's the doves. And look at these adorable. While I was cutting out the doves for this workshop, on the margins of the paper, you know, where there was space, I cut out these little envelopes. So I know I'll be using those in an upcoming something or other. But look how tiny and cute, and they go inside the little dove's mouth, or like maybe he's carrying it with his feet. So cute. So the doves, there's two different doves. I don't know if I have both of them left over. No, I just have, this one is the one with the both wings wide open, and you can see that you can kind of fluff up these wings a little bit. See how they're cut out? You can take your bone folder and give them a little fluff if you wanted to. They didn't attach them all the way up so that you could do things with them. So they're really pretty. And then there's, of course, 2 sprigs, which are really nice. We used those in the class. Here's the envelopes. It cuts out 2 at a time. You've also got these little starlights. And then what I really like are these labels. There's 2 sizes, so you can nest them. And I love that. They also, when you cut out the labels, the larger one has an extra embossed outline, which is pretty. I'll show you that in a minute. So there's a glimmer paper that matches the designer paper, and I don't know where that is right now, but it's Secret Sea, Cloud Cover, and one other blue. Maybe it's silver. Glimmer paper. It's just beautiful, and we used that. So at the event, I'm going to show you what we made, but then we're going to go through this one that had a lot of designer paper that I modified. So, oh, and like I said, there's also in this lineup, there's embellishments. Here they are. Here's the embellishments. We used a few of those at the event. And there's ribbon. Look how gorgeous that ribbon is. It's, is it navy? Misty Moonlight with silver edging and silver kind of in the woven area too. Beautiful paper. Love that, or ribbon. I really like the ribbon. This color family just speaks to me, so I'm all over it. And then there's a scrapbooking kit that goes with it too. And it's called Peaceful Days. And it's beautiful, so I got that. And this will be all coming out in the mini catalog that comes out for August through the end of the year. And it's got a lot of holiday in it, but not exclusively holiday. And really pretty. Okay. So let's show you the projects that we created at the event. This was the first one we did, and it's very simple. And my little guy moved, he was over here. It's a simple sympathy card, really pretty, and you just use strips of designer series paper and just tear at the edges, and it's just a really pretty and simple sympathy card. And when you need a sympathy card, you don't want something that's going to take you a long time. You just want to get it in the mail and send your love. So this is a nice layout, but you can change if you don't have this yet, because this isn't out yet. You can do this exact same thing with strips of scraps, designer series paper that you have in your scrap pile, and use 3 different types that all coordinate together and get a beautiful card. And a lot of us have sprigs, but if you don't have sprigs, you can just tie a bow. You can pop this up on a label or leave it alone. It's just a really pretty way to use your designer paper. It's not expensive, and you can make something lovely and send that off. It doesn't have to be sympathy, obviously. You can just say anything you want right there. If these are really bright and cheery colors, you can make it a birthday card. So whatever you need, that's a great layout. The next thing we made was this one. And this one was really fun because you got to use some of the paper. Here's that Secret Sea glimmer paper, which I love. We used the heartfelt prayers from the same stamp set, and that paper that's my favorite right there. And I love that. And there's also an embossing folder, which I must have put away. I meant to keep everything out so I could do this video, but I don't see it. I'll have to grab that. It's an embossing folder that matches these labels. Let me see if I can grab it really fast. Maybe it's on top of my desk. Okay, good, it didn't go far. Here it is. And this is one of those embossing folders. It has an area that matches the label. But what we did is we put a strip of paper in the area that had the detail, the leaves, to make this fun detail embossed area. So that was really fun. And then this has a little pull-out that says sending love. Isn't that cute? So I really like that. That's a really little peekaboo on the front, and then of course you can put whatever you want on the inside. We didn't decorate the inside on this one, but I will, because I like my insides to have a little more something something. So these two didn't get any internal decoration. Another thing we made was a box, and this was a fun box to make. I liked this. It uses some of the cloud cover glimmer paper, a big hug for a good friend, and that beautiful paper again. And this box is an interesting fold that I haven't done before, so we'll maybe play with this at Stamp Camp coming up. And it kind of goes like this, and then you can open it and fill it and then still close it. Isn't that cute? And then the ribbon just acts as a little closure, belly band kind of thing. But it's beautiful. Another thing we did is when we cut out the sprig for this card, We had one that we used white, and the other one we used with the blending brushes to get it to turn into this color, which is Cloud Cover. I'll talk about Cloud Cover in a minute. You can change it to Misty Moonlight or whatever color you want. But we also kept one of our background pieces here, the negative space, and we used it right here. That's actually a stencil that we put down and used a blending brush on top of, so you can use your little scrap for another purpose. And that was really a fun technique that they showed us, and we've done that before, but it's nice to be reminded of these techniques because sometimes you do them, it's been a while, you forget about them. So that was a really fun one. And then this is my favorite one, and this envelope is beautiful. Now you can obviously not write an address on here, so you'd have to attach a label or a white piece in the middle to put an address. It's actually not that thick. I was worried that it would be too thick. It's not. So you could maybe put, you know how they have those stamps that are a little bit more expensive that say non-machinable. I think they have butterflies usually on them. They're a few cents more, or you could put 2 regular stamps on there. But I like the non-machinable ones because then they don't put them through the machine, and there's a bump right there from the ribbon, but it's not a horrible bump, I must say. It's not too bad. Okay, so here it is. Look how gorgeous. So first, just the envelope itself is gorgeous, and we made that. And then this card is gorgeous. So it's got the dove carrying an olive branch with a nice little linen thread, peace on earth. We used some blending brushes to add blending to the what am I trying to say? Label. And so it's just beautiful. And then you've got this tie. Now this tie acts as the closure. That's one of the things I changed on my version because I didn't want someone to have to open and close the tie all the time. But it is beautiful. So this would be a card that I would give to somebody who I was giving maybe the card in person because of the beautifulness of it. And I mean, it's a gift in of itself. It's gorgeous. I mean, just imagine that, someone opening this and like the inside. It's just beautiful. Okay. Now let me show you how it opens. So you untie it, and then it opens differently. So you've got a flap. This part comes up, and this is that embossing folder that had the space for the label, and we intentionally didn't use the bottom so it would come up, and it's kind of more obvious that they're supposed to lift it. And you've got the beautiful texture on the Misty Moonlight paper, and you've got the glimmer, the beautiful dove, and texture. So this is a really pretty card. That would be a really great holiday. And then inside we did peace, love, and joy, and then this open, so we used both doves on this one and some blending in the corner. Now I'm going to tell you a little problem that's happened with this card with the ink. Cloud Cover is a beautiful cover and unfortunately, here it is. This is Cloud Cover here. It's gorgeous. I love it. It looks great with Secret Sea, but there was a problem in the formulation of the ink. So for this event, Stampin' Up was using a different color. They were using Balmy Blue in any place where there was Cloud Cover. Now, as a demonstrator, we were allowed to purchase the Cloud Cover ink pad, but they've decided not to sell it for customers. What happens is the color in this pad shifts a little bit. It doesn't stay true because of the anti-foaming agent in the pad. It just doesn't like it with this happened once before with Posy, and it's just, it doesn't, sometimes it lasts great, and sometimes it works fine, and sometimes when the color seems to shift and it's just not within the range that they consider tolerable. They don't want to sell it and then have a customer say, mine is a little bit off, and they have to keep replacing them. So they made the decision to not sell this to the general population. So which I understand. However, what does work is the re-ink ink fill, because what happens, it's not working with this pad. Something in the anti-foaming agent of this pad, this material, makes the ink not stay true, and it causes it to shift. But if you have those ink spots, you know how Stampin' Up sells those little ink spots? If you have an ink spot, and they sell them with no ink in them, you can get blank ink spots. I think they're sold in packs of 6. You can use the re-inker, the actual like little ink refill bottle that would look like this. I don't know if I have a Cloud Cover one yet. This is a basic beige. I thought I did, but I don't see it. But they look like this. And what you can do is you can use this with the, now I'm just distracted looking to see if I have it, like a dog looking at a squirrel. There it is. I do have it. Okay. Happy now. You can go in and you can take a spot and put this ink on it, and now you do have Cloud Cover ink. if that makes sense. Or you can use it with painting techniques, you know, by putting a little bit on your glass mat or on a little tray or something, and use it as a watercolor to color in. It's a beautiful color. So I'm kind of bummed, but I'm glad that I was able to get the big pad, because I haven't really had any problems with it, but they just don't want anybody to have problems with it. So I did get this, and I can re-ink a small little ink spot, and that way I have the color. But if you don't want to fuss with all of that, don't. Just go with the paper, because the paper is gorgeous. It coordinates so pretty with the deeper blues, navy or secret sea or even misty moonlight. I mean, it's a beautiful combination. So maybe stick with the paper, and you don't need to necessarily have the ink. You know, you can use misty moonlight or navy as an accent, and this is just a beautiful color to have. So that, I want to make sure I pointed that out, because you know, I don't want you to say, how come your card has a balmy blue or a cloud cover on it and mine will not be able to? So you can see that I did use cloud cover. However, like I said, they used in the example on the event, they used balmy blue, which I thought was a little bit too bright, but I thought a good alternate would be misty moonlight, which when you use it in this fashion, you can just add a little lighter. You can add more or less ink to your background, and it would have been just fine in misty moonlight, which is what this is up there. So lots of options. I just wanted to make sure I pointed it out. Okay, so here's the card that I love. But like I said, it uses a lot of designer series paper for this card and the envelope. And I would be unable to do this in a class, because I usually have anywhere between 12 and 16 attendees, and I just would have to use so many packs of paper to get this effect. So I changed it, and here is what I did. There. So you can see that it's similar. It's got the same look to it, I hope, because whoever designed it did an awesome job. It's gorgeous. But I eliminated the need for tying and untying, because I am not a great tyer and untyer. I like when I don't want to make my recipient have to do that. So I eliminated that, but still gave that look. And the outside looks very similar. I used the embossing folder. I used the same designer series paper, but instead of making that the card base, upside down, I used a misty moonlight card base. But then you can see my inside is the same. I probably could have put this on the bottom like they did. That was smart. So let's make this card, and I'll show you all the little elements. Okay, so if you want to make my version, you need a sheet of cardstock. And again, you don't have this paper, I know, unless you're a demonstrator. So you're going to use a sheet of misty moonlight cardstock, and you can change it up. There's some really pretty blue cardstocks out there. Or wait and get this in August, or if you join Stampin' Up in July, you can put this in your starter kit, actually. So here is the designer series paper. I'm going to go ahead and put that down. And it got stuck under a catalog, and now it's got a slight bend in it, so hopefully I can smooth that out. Isn't this beautiful paper? I can see myself being sad when this is gone. I'll have to get another pack. Okay, so I've got my background down. I don't want to put this down yet though, because I want to have my ribbon go around. So what I've done here, this is a piece. Let's measure this out. This is 4 by 3, and you're going to put it in the embossing folder at the line. See how there's this line across here? That's what I did. I put it at the line, like so, and then I ran it through, and that way you have it kind of cut off here. And then you need to cut out a label, which I did here, and that's going to go like this, and it hangs off the end. Now what you can do here at the bottom, you need a slit of some kind, and you know, we don't know, at the event they said if you don't have a hole punch or anything like that, you can use an X-Acto knife and just simply cut a slit, and we could do that. You could use a ruler or a straight edge to do so. I happen to have a hole punch, so that's what I used. Stampin' Up! Has a really cute tag hole punch, but it's on back order right now. have an old one, so this is an ancient Stampin' Up punch. But it's a good one, so hang on to it. But do keep your eyes out for the new ones. There's a trio of them, and they make different shaped slots, and they're great for ribbon slots. So if they come back in stock, I'll grab it. I ended up buying one, and then a customer really wanted one, and it was on back order till July, so I hadn't used mine yet, so I gave her mine, and now I don't have one. So anyway, here we go. That is this one. Now for this, you're going to want to use that ribbon, and well, let's stamp on it first. So let's get our stamping done. Now I also cut with the smaller label, I cut out of the glimmer paper, so that's going to go down right there. But first I want to stamp because I want to make sure if I need to trim this, if I made this too big. So let's do the stamping. We're going to use Misty Moonlight. I'm going to go ahead with the Peace on Earth because I think this is a lovely card, and I am going to want to send this out for Christmas. So I've got my Peace on Earth, and now let's see if I need to trim this. I do, so I'm going to go ahead and trim that down. And I'm going to also use my cloud cover to give a little bit of shading to the background, like so. So I'm going to pick up some. I like to start off the side and then come in and add it like that. And it's just adding a little texture. Now because this has that raised texture, the bristles really want to darken that area, which is totally fine. So I'm starting over here and coming in. And you could do it at the bottom too, although I think the bow is going to cover that. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to do a little bit here on the edge, just for a little smoky look. And then I'm going to go ahead and do my, since I have it out, I'm going to do the inside as well. And I'm just going to give a little smoky edge to my when your brush starts to get like this, see how it's clumping up? That's because it's very saturated. So it's time to clean. So I just want to say that that is what happens when your brush is really saturated with ink. It kind of loses its fuzziness and gets clumpy. And that's saying, wash me. It still works, but I'm just noticing that I need to wash it. So I thought I would point that out to you. That is a wash me brush. Because normally after you wash them, and they don't come 100% clean, but they look like this, and they don't clump anymore. See how beautiful that is? Not clumpy, and it makes a smoother look. This one's clumpy because it needs to be washed. Okay? All right, so then the dove goes here, or should it go like this? Maybe like this, like that. I'm gonna go ahead and stick that down since I have my card here in front of me, and what I do with my glue. There it is. All right, let's stick that down. Okay, and put that, and we still have one more stamping piece to do on this one, that Peace, Love, Joy. I broke my own rule here. When you're using these long ones, it's so easy to accidentally curl them up, so you should kind of put them down on a nice straight edge. It's got this grid paper is awesome for that. And then pick it up, and then you know it's nice and straight. Because sometimes when I use these long ones, when I put them on the block, my hand where my finger was tends to make it go up or down just slightly, and it doesn't notice it on the block until after I stamp with it. And then I'm like, oh, look at that, the last little letter is turned up a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna put this at the bottom, and that way I can put a greeting or whatever I want to write in the middle there. Okay, so the inside is done. So I'm going to go ahead and stick it down so I don't lose it. My desk, if I zoomed out, is an enormous mess right now. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to cut this down just a bit. Let's see how much I have to cut down. oh, maybe 1/4 of an inch. So let me do that. Whoop. Perfect, okay. All right. So that's gonna go like this. Okay, and then my ribbon is gonna go through the front here and around this card. Oops. It's gonna lay where the image of the label is. I'm gonna stick a little bit of adhesive on either side of that. I'm actually gonna use dimensionals, get a little pop up. And I'm gonna do the 4 corners so that the center is still movable, because I like to leave that ribbon movable until after I've tied it, so I don't have to pull it around and take it back off and adjust. So I'm going to let that ribbon hang loose for a minute. All right, stick this down where that image of the label is, right there. Okay. And then bring it around front like this. And see how I can still pull that ribbon. Okay, here we go. And now I'm gonna tie a bow. I like to turn it sideways. Now, I'm not a great bow tire. My sister is a great bow tire. Unfortunately, she doesn't come over and tie my bows for me. I wish she did. That would be good. Alright. Oh, you know what? I did upside down. Look, my tails are going up. Let me do it again. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to tie my bow. I like to tie it and then kind of make little adjustments after I tie it. Probably what everybody does, right? There we go. Had it folded up in the card, and so it's got a little crease there, but I think that'll, there we go. Okay, so now, oh, that's for something else. Okay, I'm gonna, oh, my dove also got a little creased. Okay, I'm gonna stick the dove down. Now, glimmer paper is a little hard to stick things to with the Stampin' Seal. You can use, the liquid glue is great for it though, because it kind of goes in all the little grooves. So I'm going to use liquid glue right there. And I'm going to use a glue dot though for the ribbon. I find that liquid glue and ribbon, I feel like the liquid glue just kind of soaks into the ribbon and then doesn't make contact with the paper. I don't know. So I'm going to use a glue dot. I love that I have all the options for glue. I'm going to tie myself a little bow with the twine. I think this is a really pretty layout, so you can do this with different images, different designer series paper. Can imagine a flower here, different things, but this dove is gorgeous. So in the fall or January, if you join, or you're, you know, or you're you can pre-order it, or wait till the annual catalog or the mini catalog comes out, you can get it. So I take my glue dot and I kind of crumple it a little bit and stick it down. And I want, oh, I put it up on his mouth. He's not in his mouth. This one, he's carrying this little branch in his feet. I want it to be in his feet because I want the bow to be there also. So the bow goes down and the little sprig, and that glue dot has enough give where both can go down. There we go. And that little sprig is Secret C. And the reason why I crunched up my glue dot is so that it doesn't hang too much over, because I don't want it to stick, so I want to make sure I don't feel it on top of the element so it doesn't stick to my card envelope when it gets mailed. So here is the top, and then this is just going to go straight down. Now I am not going to put this on dimensionals. I put this on dimensionals, and that's enough because I've already got some bulk here and I want to limit the amount of bulk. So I'm going to go ahead and go straight down with my seal. Now depending, I would maybe put some on the ribbon too, just so it doesn't move around and it makes some more contact. And I'm going right up to the top of that Misty Moonlight area. And there is my version of the card. So their card is gorgeous, beautiful, and I just changed it ever so slightly to make it a little more Stamp Camp friendly. So, but otherwise I think the elements are all there, and it's just a beautiful card. I hope that back in, I'll probably make it at Stamp Camp in September. So some of you are seeing a sneak peek of something that's not going to come for a while, but it's just gorgeous. Again, this is a product that's going to be in the upcoming mini catalog. That's going to be the August through December mini catalog that does have a lot of fall and winter items in it. This one would be great for the holidays, but it's not necessarily. It does have the sympathy, which the doves are just beautiful. And again, demonstrators can pre-order it in July, I believe. And you can also see it in August for everyone. So thanks for watching. I hope you like this template. This is a really pretty style, and if you make something like this using this idea, show me on my Facebook group. I love to share and see what other people are doing. It's Beth's Paper Cuts Idea Sharing Group on Facebook, and you can post things there as well. So if you do any of these layouts, this one, I mean, look how beautiful that is and simple. And I love this idea with the peekaboo, because that is really a fun way to send a little extra little message. That's cute. I might put a bow there so that people, or like a little bit of ribbon, so it's like something for them to say that they need to pull it. I hope they get that message. And then I'm going to add on the inside, I'm going to add some white, maybe a strip of Designer Series paper at the bottom. And I know who this is going to. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Bye.